So we're here basically to talk about your film Possibilities of Endless, and of course you. Where did the name come from?
I coined it back in hospital.
Right.
The possibilities are endless. The possibilities are endless,
Yeah.
over and over again. And it's Ed and James, the film guys. It's a good catchphrase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you had little or no speech,
Yeah.
you were Edwyn would get stuck on a phrase
Yeah.
that would maybe haunt him every time he tried to speak. The same thing would come out for several weeks maybe, and at one point, about 3 months into his hospital stay, as you changed hospitals, remember you arrived in the ward and I'd forgotten what it was, and one of your old inmates later on down the line, I said, can you remember that phrase Edwyn was stuck on when he first arrived? And he went, I do. The possibilities are endless. Over and over again. He said, I remember, he said when you arrived, he thought, because you said it everything, if they said, what would you like for breakfast, Edwyn, you said, the possibilities are endless.
And they are.
It's a feature of aphasia. He goes, I can remember we all looked at one another and thought, oh, we've got a right one.
Cheers for that.
Yeah, but it was also your name as well.
Yeah, he was stuck on my name at one point too. So the doctors would say, how are you today, Edwyn? And he'd say, Grace Maxwell. And I think, I'm frustrated.
Well, you shouldn't get frustrated. It could have been another old girlfriend. You never know.
Correct. And he always gave me my full title, didn't you?
Yes.
So I'd walk in to see him in the morning and he'd go, Grace Maxwell. We can laugh at this stuff now. But
we can.
Grace Maxwell. And I'd go, pleased to meet you, Edwyn Collins.
Yeah.
We've been laughing almost since the beginning, when it became clear, as overwhelming as the job was to get Edwyn better, it seemed like taking stock at the beginning of everything that had happened to him. But even from the get-go, whenever we were past the point where his life was in danger, that's really when the laughter began and the jokes began, and it helps you a lot if you can.
It does.
Take the mickey out of every situation, no matter how dire it is. Those moments of joy or laughter.
Well, it's a very Celtic thing, isn't it? The black humour in the face of extreme opposition.
Gallows humour.
Gallows humour, that's exactly what they should have got. A Gaelic humour, I guess. But having said that, though, one of the most precious things you have is your memory, I guess. But the other thing is your life. So, you came out of it intact. So I suppose that pales in comparison compared to anything else, isn't it?
The things that interest Edwyn were the things
the groups, the soul groups and the punk groups, and so on. I memorised that. It's but the walking along the street, I can't remember the street. Back in the hostel, I memorised the groups. It's daft in a way. But I memorised and persevered.
You used that almost as an exercise to check, because Edwyn would struggle to
pin the thought down.
That's right. And he would use recreating bands in his head and the names of the members. And I can't remember why something about the Cure came out of my mind. What's the singer? What's his name? And from Edwyn went, Robert Smith.
Well,
you can do that.
Fat Bob.
That big stato brain for pop music. That didn't. That was still there to.
Fiction records.
Oh wow!
Holder records.
It's quite fascinating to watch it, really.
Well, did you feel it slowly coming back together? Or were you cognizant of the whole sort of process?
Yeah, but Grace always in hospital days came in to talk to me, and I memorised groups, and I memorised where I was doing the toilet. For example, it's important.
Routes to places where the nearest bathroom was, all that stuff. But you would the thing about aphasia that they say to you is you've got to leave the person
alone.
Lots of space.
Yes.
Don't finish their sentences. Don't interrupt.
Whereas Grace, tell them about it.
I never do that. I never did.
Talks constantly. Talks.
So I just think our own, you make your own ways of dealing with things too. And I thought, well, what we've always done is gossiped a lot. So I just kept gossiping at him and remembering all the different stories and people and things that have happened to us in our crazy life, and just keep, yabbering at him.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah. Like, so, it must have made a dent. And of course it was a crazy life, because I mean, I guess, going from the thing to then, because the success was quite big, wasn't it, in America?
The Girl Like You. I remember all over the world. I started in Great Britain, and then Europe, America, Japan, and it exhausted me. Afterwards. But 2 years and 6 months, and I can't basically do it.
It's weird, because I think that level of success only happened once in your life, and it was quite. We sort of realised that we weren't really cut out for it.
No. Me neither. Yeah, I the same. No. And how did you reacquaint yourself back with the world of recording?
Tell Chris about Home Again, the process, how you'd recorded it before.
I did 5 songs before my stroke. And Home Again, and Seb and me, after my stroke, I wasn't ready yet to record, but leave it for a while, Seb, I said. And soon, 4 months ago...
A year later.
A year later?
It was a year later, before you came back. And you finished mixing that record, didn't you? You mixed it then. And it was... so it was quite a good thing that he'd recorded an album immediately before, and he had to mix it, so it was quite a good entrance back into to mix and make those decisions you make when you're mixing, and that was a good start. But gradually, being in the studio every day with Seb,
for example,
brought it all back. Seb Lewis.
Seb, the bass is too quiet. Turn it up a bit, and so on.
His recording instincts came back. Quite once you got back into it. They came back quite quickly.
And
didn't
reverb, I want no reverb. But you sure about that, Edwyn? The reverb is important, and so on.
And what about the songwriting and because I mean that it takes.
The song, the songs are there. But the music, pardon me, is there. The lyrics are not
more of a challenge.
Coming
back to it, for the first 3 years, nothing at all. And then suddenly he started to wake up in the middle of the night, literally, with ideas, tunes, and he'd go bits of words, but also tunes, and we had a little dictation machine, so she would sing things into.
I remember back in Edinburgh days. When I was 4 years old. But I can't remember recently. It's coming back slowly. But my lyrics, I persevered with my lyrics.
You had to relearn all your songs. You've forgotten all your songs, haven't you? All the words. But also, it's a process, because it's it's brain injury and brain recovery. It takes a long time.
Tell me about it.
When he was first coming to, it was even just begin with a sense of identity. Sense of self, really. That was a struggle. I could watch this in front of my eyes, because of course Edwyn had lost language, and but he was also so three sheets to the wind that you could only really stay awake for a couple of minutes at a stretch.
My eyeballs apparently are round and low.
Yeah, you would bit googly, and then but you could, because you couldn't focus as well.
Basically, Chris, I was mad. Let's face it.
Well,
it takes a time. It takes a long time, but to see then, as he got a wee bit better and a bit stronger, then the extent of the damage and the problems that we were facing revealed themselves to us, and you realise that Edwyn would have to be reintroduced to his whole life, really.
Yes.
And so the great thing was not the loss of his memories, but how capable he would be of having them reintroduced to him and recovering them, retrieving them. And as time went on, we were able to realise that he was going to be. He was capable of retrieving them, but it was going to be.
It takes a long time.
Yeah.
And as you said, I said in the notes here, you said Grace, you said everything is completely different. Your relationships, but he said it's not necessarily a negative thing.
No. And that's the thing. Lots of people in the world who, let's face it, every family has to deal with crises.
Yeah.
It's a strange family that doesn't have to deal with some types of crises. And they change you and they shape you, but it's whether you can see that as part of life and accept it. You helped me do that. You were the one. Yeah, because you would always say, no point crying over it, forget it, it's done, move on. Push on, keep going. Yeah,
and that's why. That's why it's such an inspiring film, because you've got over something that would for a lot of people would kind of ruin them.
You're not a great one for.
Looking back, I want to push forward.
Yeah. But most people have to write and speak and come back. It would take them years to get back on stage. But
I think Edwyn's gigantic ego has helped.
What about you? What about you?
My ego's not as enormous as yours. It's pretty big, but it's not as enormous as yours.
Well, and then of course with the film you had to do 6 months of interviews. How was that? Because I know you've warmed up now because you're so used to it, but interviews.
I know James and Ed is the film guys. Oh, what a film! And up in Helmsdale and London, and first at the studio, it's difficult to express my opinions on things, but after a while it came easier. And Ed and James, the relaxing influence for me. It's quiet, and I was generally pleased with the results.
They were able to create an atmosphere for you, weren't they?
They were.
And they never, unlike what we were talking about earlier, my technique, which is just to talk across you all the time. Ed and James had this very peaceful, still atmosphere, and they never
interrupted.
Yeah, they didn't lead you anywhere. They let you take your thoughts wherever they would go, and they give you tons of space. And I think for such young guys, they really had a powerful grasp of what they wanted to get, and they were able to create the right conditions to get the best out of it, and so that they could build the film around these beautiful recorded interviews with him, which were quite. But what would you say the purpose of the film is? The message of the film?
Don't give up hope. I fought, and because of my stroke, I persevered, and James and Ed have a wonderful film, and it's amazing.